Hi, this is Mike with Better, Stronger, Faster Fitness, and I am here today to do a video blog post. I want to talk a little bit about how some tips to keep yourself sane in the Pacific Northwest winters. I did a blog on my website recently, and I talked a little bit about this, and it went over really well. And so I just wanted to talk about some of those things in a little bit more detail, and to do it in a video format and add a little bit to the thoughts that I expressed. The reason that I'm here in my living room is because it's the best space that I have available to record right now. The gym is great. I really love Strength Lab, but it's very loud and noisy in there, and the ceilings are very high, which is great for acro, but at the same time it echoes a lot. And so my living room is really the best place that I have available. The reason that I'm standing is because I've recently written a wellness advent calendar for my clients and for my friends and members on my website, betterstrongerfasterfitness.com. You can still sign up. There's a few days left. You can get on the fun there. The entry for December 20th today was stand more often, do more standing. And so that is part of my wellness practice as well. I'm trying to follow the calendar along with everyone else as I'm doing it. And it's today's standing day. The reason that I was inspired to do this blog post today is because it's been a challenging day. There's a lot of holiday stress about. Tomorrow is solstice, so the sun is coming back to us, and that should help quite a lot. It's going to get brighter and brighter and brighter every day from here on out after tomorrow, and I always look forward to that. The Pacific Northwest rain is definitely here, though. It's been fairly stormy and a little nasty for a few days. And if you're anything like me, you might be feeling the effects of that. Relationships are definitely a little bit more challenging sometimes. I find like I'm a little bit more on edge. And I have all kinds of coping mechanisms to help myself when I get like this. And one of those things is to make sure that I'm getting enough vitamin D in my diet. Vitamin D is super important because you, especially here in the Pacific Northwest, you're not going to manufacture enough vitamin D just from the sunlight. From about September until around May, I personally supplement my vitamin D by taking gel pills, and I take 10,000 IU a day. And I find that helps me in the long, there's not an immediate effect, but it helps me in the longer term. I can tell when I've been good about taking those pills for 2 or 3 weeks in a row versus when I've been really lousy and I only do it a couple of days a week, or I slack off, or I miss a week, or whatever is going on in my life. If I'm not super consistent with it, I can tell a very big difference when I'm more consistent with that. And you want to make sure that you're getting vitamin D3. You don't have to have 10,000 IU. You might not need that much. You might need a little bit more. There's all kinds of factors involved, the pigment and color of your skin and how you're complected, and all sorts of other things that determine how much you make and the levels that you need. So you should probably go to a doctor and get tested and see what your level is and see what your doctor recommends. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll just put you on a huge attack dose. For me, I just like to keep myself that nice consistent 10,000 IU a day. It's real healthy for your body. It's good for your cardiovascular system. It helps with cancer protection and bone density and depressive symptoms and all kinds of other things like that as well. So it's a great thing for you to have anyway. Another thing that I find that really helps me is the use of full spectrum lighting. I have what is called a Happy Light. It's by Verilux, and this thing has been surprisingly effective for me. It's really bright. Let me turn it on. You can see it really lights up above and beyond what I've already got going on for lighting because I'm filming. Let me see if I can get it out of here without breaking some things here. You can see this thing is like the sun. Ah! Look, it's so bright. And I put this right next to, I'm going to turn it off. Wow. I put this right next to my face basically while I'm waking up in the morning and I'm doing my email and drinking my coffee. I sit there with that light and I just put it on my face for a couple minutes in the morning when I'm doing stuff, or if I'm feeling a little bit run down and a little bit more tired than I think I should, or it's really dingy and nasty outside, I'll hit myself with it periodically throughout the day and just kind of brighten myself up a little bit, and that's been very effective for me ever since I started doing that. And it's been years now. That one that I'm showing you is a little bit older. I've had it for quite a few years, and the plastic's probably a little bit dingy. But I really, really love the device, and it still gets super bright. As you can see, it's still very, very effective. I think that was $100. You can get smaller ones if you have limited space. That one's pretty big. But I really like that big full body coverage that I feel from that. I can feel a difference just turning it off right now. Maybe I'll turn it back on while I'm doing this. Anyhow, another thing that's really, really helpful, and part of the reason that full spectrum lighting is great, is because it helps to make sure your circadian rhythms are on track. With the time change in the Pacific Northwest especially, it gets dark here at 4:30 in the afternoon. It's not even evening yet. By 5 o'clock, it's pitch black right now. And so that's a pretty weird shift from summertime when it's light out until 10 o'clock at night. We have very, very weird, big shifts in light and the amount of sunlight that we get. And so it's hard to adapt. It's hard for me to adapt. I've lived here since 2006, and I came here from Florida, and I didn't go outside nearly as much in Florida as I do now. It's very, very strange, but it's hard to adapt to the difference in how much sunlight that you get and how the seasons change. So the Happy Light has definitely been a great coping mechanism. It also helps to make sure that my sleep habits are more on track. Sleep habits are super important. Things like too much light when you're supposed to be winding down will keep you awake later at night. And so it's a good idea to turn off your screens, get out of your phone, turn off your computer, close your laptop lid, turn off your television. You don't, having a TV in your bed and letting it play all night while you sleep, or watching TV even to go to bed at night, is okay sometimes for a little while, but if you rely on that as a habit over a period of time, it can give you some issues with your sleep. You're better off to make sure that it's quiet while you're sleeping. As much as you can make it quiet, you'll get more restful sleep, and overall your body will recover more effectively. Other things that you can do to make sure that your sleep habits are on track: you can exercise more often. You can wear yourself out. It's totally a great thing to do. If you have a whole lot of energy at the end of the night, do a little bit more exercise. You can do body weight workouts. You can do kettlebell workouts. There's all kinds of things that you can do in your home with very, very little space, and I'm going to start demonstrating things like that on my channel. So stay tuned and expect things like that to come your way. Activity is really, really good for battling depression as well, and for that Pacific Northwest funk. And not just in your living room. It's really, really important, I think, especially for me, to get outside in the things that I love to do. Like, I'm still hiking. I went hiking yesterday up Spencer Butte. It's a 2-mile hike, and I do it, I've done it in the rain, and I feel like I have an aversion to getting outside in the rain when it first starts, but if I get myself out there and I make a habit of it, it's part of me. It becomes easier and easier to cope with the winter. Coffee. I like coffee. That's another way that you can help to maintain good circadian rhythms, is you can make sure that you're not drinking too much caffeine after a certain period during the day. If you're drinking coffee at 6 o'clock at night, you're probably going to be awake a little bit longer into the night than you expect. And so it's a good idea to cut out the coffee a little bit earlier. I'm still fine today. It's just a little bit after noon. But check your coffee intake. If you're not sleeping well, you might be getting too much coffee. You might be getting too much light. There's all kinds of different things that you can do. If you need to use your phone at night, you can put an application on your phone, an app that will dim your screen or change it a slightly different color, so that the waves of light that are hitting you don't get as many blue light waves, which are the ones that tend to keep you a little bit awake at night. Like this is a full spectrum. You can see a lot more blue in this than you can in incandescent light, which is more orange or yellow. Even those will keep you awake though, so try to turn them out. Activity, socialization is the next key to making sure that you have a better winter and you keep your sanity in the Pacific Northwest winters. Socialization is really, really important because we all need people around us. And when you, in the Pacific Northwest, there's a lot that you can do by yourself. You can go hiking, you can exercise, there's all kinds of stuff to do. But when it's rainy, sometimes you want to stay inside with family. Sometimes you might want to spend time doing board games or hobbies. It's good to get away from your phones a little bit and connect with other people. And so I feel like making sure that you have really, really good connections is a good, solid way for you to deal with winter funk and holiday funk, if that's something that you have to deal with as well. Missing family, or maybe not missing your family. It's good to have other people around that know how you feel, that you can socialize, and who can relate to your issues. Whether that means having a hiking buddy or a workout partner, or just having a friend that you check in with periodically and hang out and play board games with, or other healthy activities. It's super important, but it's also really important to find a balance. Sometimes I find that I rush to be social because I know that it's good for me and I don't want to be a hermit, but at the same time I'll get myself into a pattern where I socialize so much that I'm not taking care of myself as much as I need to, and I'm not feeling how my energy feels, and I can get irritable, I can get impatient, I can get where I don't feel like I've had enough time to rest and recover. Recovery is really, really super important, and so self-care should be part of your thoughts about your recovery. If you're not recovering well, your body is not healing well. If you're not sleeping well, your body's not healing well. Most of your recovery happens at night. So all of this stuff ties together in a really profound and effective way. If you are trying to balance all of it as much as you can, you'll find that it all helps to lift each other up. Self-care is super, super important, and it looks different for different people. I went the other day and I got a massage, and it was the first massage that I'd had in a while, and I actually found that I was so tense when I got there and I was able to relax so much from the massage that I actually fell asleep on the massage table, and that's not typical for behavior for me at all. It's not something that I usually do. And so it was really interesting to see that my body needed that so much. My body told me, like, it knocked me out. I was unconscious, snoring. And I was very embarrassed, actually. But it was good because I needed that recovery time. I needed that rest. And so I listened to myself, and that night I went home and I took it really, really easy, and I drank hot cocoa and a bunch of other things. And I've been really trying to listen to what my body is telling me that it needs. And sometimes that's different. Sometimes self-care for me is just staying home and grooming myself, like shaving my head and shaving my face and making sure that I'm not beardy. Or it's taking care of my laundry that I let sit in a pile even though it's clean. I got a pile of laundry there and it's been driving me crazy all week, and so I'm going to spend some time doing self-care by taking care of that pile and getting it out of my line of sight so that it frees up that energy of me thinking about it all the time, or seeing it as I pass and going, I need to take care of that. Sometimes that responsibility, like getting things like that taken care of, is doing my self-care as well. So there's all kinds of different ways to think about that. But it's important to balance your socialization and your self-care, making sure that you get that really, really good recovery. Another thing that I find to be very, very important is goal setting and visualization. Goal setting is helpful for me to get through the winter because I'm thinking about the things that I'm going to do past the winter. It's something easy for me to focus on. It's something that I can work toward during the winter months when I'm a little bit more hermity and I'm a little bit home more often. I don't want to go outside. I can still be productive. I can still do things that make me feel really, really good, keep me in my flow, keep me really, really effective. It's a really powerful thing for me to have a goal that I can work toward, to keep striving toward things, whether that's a goal about my body or my training or my business or the workshop that I'm going to do next month. I'm planning a workshop that's all about, it's called Resist, Recover, Refuel, and it's all about how to take care of yourself. It's all about doing the things that you need to do without a personal trainer that you can do in the privacy of your own home. And basically, we're going to talk about fitness. We're going to do some fitness stuff, and we're going to do some recovery stuff. We're going to talk about all of this recovery stuff that I'm talking about right now, but we're going to go into great detail, and we're going to foam roll while we're doing it, and we're going to like work on our bodies while we're doing it, and do some mobility stuff, and maybe a little self massage. I've got some really good tricks. So we're going to cover that, and then refuel. And refueling is really, really important because it's part of your recovery, part in making sure that you've got the right nutrients for your body. Your nutrition is on point. If you're a carb eater, you're eating enough carbs. You know, if you're a fat-fueled person, you're like eating enough to keep your keto on. You get enough protein for your body to recover and to build the muscle and the bone and everything else that you're trying to rebuild overnight when you're sleeping, hopefully. So yeah. I find that I have a much easier time of the winter when I have goals that I am working towards. So that workshop is one of my goals that I'm working toward. I'm getting all that put together. I'm going to get it all practiced and rock and roll it. And so that's helping me to stay on track, and it's helping my brain to go, blah, not to go, blah, the winter is terrible, blah, the winter sucks. In addition to all the other things that I've said about getting outside in it, that having that goal is really, really helpful for me. So another thing that I've been doing that is back into self-care for me is lots of breathing. I don't take as much time to just stop and breathe as I used to. And I've found as I have all of these goals and all of these things that I work towards, I start to get into this fast-paced rhythm, and I'm rocking and rolling, and I'm running at it, and I don't take the time to stop and breathe then either. So it's a little hard to do. You have to really, really think about it. So since I'm standing and I'm talking, I'm going to slow it down for just a second, and I'm going to breathe in through my nose and then let it out slowly through my mouth. And I'm going to completely through my nose again. I'm not going to close my eyes because that makes me lean a little bit when I'm standing. But if you're sitting watching this, you can close your eyes and breathe in through your nose again. Let it out through your mouth. You want to expand your belly when you breathe in through your nose again. Big belly breathing. Relax. One more, big breath. And out. Awesome, that feels really good. That slows me down when I'm getting crazy. That slows me down when I can't focus anymore, and when I am getting in that spinning out mode, when I've had a really, really hard day, when communication is tricky. Another thing that I've been doing a little bit more for myself is massage. Both getting a massage the other day, as I mentioned, I went to a massage therapist and fell asleep on the table. I've also been doing a little bit more self-massage. I've got some really good tricks for self-massage that I'm going to share on my YouTube channel. I'm going to share in my workshop. I'm going to show you this thing here. This thing is a lifesaver. This is called the Myo Buddy, and it is a percussive massager that uses heat and friction and feels really good and makes you sound funny. This is part of my self-care and recovery plan on a very frequent basis, just taking care of my muscles, taking care of my body, hitting things that don't feel good, taking nice big deep breaths and trying to relax and trying to let go of stress and tension, trying to let go of all the weird stuff that happened today that I fought against, or all of the communications that were difficult, the conversations that were challenging, trying to get back into a good frame of mind. And sometimes helping my body is a really, really good way of doing that. And sometimes just talking about the things that have happened and helping another person work through that is another really good way of doing that. Another concept that I want to talk about real quick, and this is going to be the way that I wrap up this Staying Sane in the Pacific Northwest video. Uh, Staying Sane in the Pacific Northwest Winters video. The way that I'm going to wrap that up is to talk about this Norse concept. It's a mindset that they employ, and they even have a name, a word that I'm going to butcher really, really bad. The word is Koselig, Koselig. It's a sense of coziness, and basically the Norse mindset is to embrace the winter, to embrace the outside for the things that you can do in it when that you can't do during the summer. They go skiing. Snowboarding would be a great thing to do in the Pacific Northwest during the winter. You can hike and go to beautiful places and see waterfalls that are frozen here. All during the winter. There's all kinds of beautiful frozen waterfalls, and there's all kinds of things to see that frost on trees and things like that. You have to appreciate the beauty of it. You have to celebrate being able to wrap up in a cozy blanket next to the fire and drink hot cocoa or drink hot tea, and to wear big snuggly furry comfortable things that you feel snugly and warm and good in. And it's really just a matter of shifting your mindset away from, oh, this is cold and it's wet and it sucks, to, oh, I can wear my sweaters. Oh, I can wear my fuzzy boots that I love that I can't wear during the winter. Or you can wear your Uggs. I guess I see people wearing those during the summer. It's super weird, but you can wear your big fuzzy things. And so that's one of the things that they do that is really, really effective. And they drink hot things like hot, wonderful coffee. And I'm sure that they eat richer, heartier food. Don't worry about your weight so much in the winter. With the holidays coming up, solstice is tomorrow. So we're going to get more and more sun from tomorrow on. With the holidays coming up, sometimes your food is going to get a little bit wacky. Don't worry about it. You're putting on a little bit of extra padding, but it's the winter time. And so you're not going to be running around in a bikini right now. You're not going to be flashing your abs. You shouldn't really stress too much about the holidays, because that holiday stress is exactly the kind of thing that makes the winter more challenging instead of more enjoyable. So I'm going to wrap that up by saying that if you try to apply all of these things, it really does make a huge difference, and I speak from experience. Thanks very much for watching. I hope that was really, really helpful for everybody out there. And if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments, and I'll make sure and answer them in the next video. Have a great day.